You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hello, this is Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There, ladies and gentlemen, that makes official. Welcome to the big show. As always, the Chris Voss Show's family loves you, doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is just mean, and we're just not mean, or we try not to be mean. Sometimes we have a little tough love. Let's put it that way. Anyway, guys, be sure to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss1 on the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet. Today we have an amazing author. As always, we have the most amazing authors on the show. Todd Zimmermann joins us on the show. He has a whole bunch of books and book series we're going to get into and all this stuff. His a book that kind of launched it all, I guess. Oliver the Ornament. He is out. You can find it on Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. We're going to talk to him about some of the other offerings he has and some of the other things he's doing and how he can maybe help you read some books that will inspire you and help read them to your children, because children need all the help they can get. It's a mean world for children because they're not used to, they're not jaded like we are, and they're kind of innocent, and they're not used to all the stupid things we do as humans. Todd Zimmermann is the visionary author and entrepreneur behind a growing library of inspirational children's books and school programs that celebrate faith, kindness, and patriotism. He is the creator of the nationally acclaimed Oliver the Ornament series, and he has built a beloved 7-book collection that tells the story of one family's Christmas ornaments, with each book revealing heartfelt lessons in kindness, friendship, forgiveness, and tradition. The series has received widespread national recognition, including being featured in People magazine's Best New Books and Fox & Friends' Best Toys of the Year. From 2018 to 2020, First Lady Melania Trump selected Oliver the Ornament to be read at the Children's National Hospital, making Zimmermann the first author in American history to have multiple books chosen for this iconic tradition, which dates back to the First Lady Bess Truman in the 1940s. Welcome to the show. How are you, Todd?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
There you go. Congratulations on having a First Lady recognize your book series and have them read. That's pretty awesome, dude.
It was pretty amazing.
There you go.
When you're sitting at your desk and all of a sudden you get an email from the White House, and your first thought is, okay, this is a friend of mine who's just,
this is a punk.
Who's just punking me, and it was pretty incredible.
President calls you like, yeah, whatever, dude. Sure, sure, yeah, you're the president, and it's like, no, this really is. You want to have Secret Service come over and punch you in the mouth? There you go. So I mean, that's probably what I'd end up doing. I'd just embarrass myself, and they'd just be like, this guy's an idiot. Click. So anyway, guys, give us .coms for you, where you want people to find you on the interwebs.
So I'll just give you a little bit of background about Oliver the Ornament. So
can you give us the .coms though? Did we do that yet? The .coms?
The what?
We want to give your plugs, your .coms.
Yeah, okay.
And where can people find you on the interwebs?
Okay, yeah, that's www.olivertheornament.com.
There you go. So now give us that overview, if you would, please.
Okay. So Oliver the Ornament is actually a 7-book series about a family's collection of ornaments. The first book starts Thanksgiving night, and the last book ends Christmas morning. So think of the 7 books as 7 chapters in one entire family's Christmas season. So with a really exciting cliffhanger at the end of every book that leads into the next book. And as you mentioned during the intro, in each of the books, we tell how the different ornaments entered the family's collection while also teaching those really important lessons to the kids. Determination, friendship, most importantly, kindness.
Kindness is important. We need more of that in this world, I think, don't we?
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. We need lots of kindness. We need more kindness. We need more empathy for each other too, I think is really important. That probably is part of kindness. So tell us more about this Oliver series. You've got two different variations of this. You've got the normal series, you've got a patriotic series. What inspired you want to write this book, Oliver the Ornament?
So people often ask me if I always had aspirations to become an author or write a kid's book, and the answer is absolutely not. My background is marketing and advertising, and it was 10 years ago at Christmas, and I was decorating a Christmas tree, and I was literally hanging the last of 200 plus ornaments on the tree. And somebody says, you don't have to hang every ornament on the tree. And I looked at the last ornament and I said, well, what are we going to do with this one then? Put him in the attic and he's going to miss out on all the fun this Christmas. And all the other ornaments are going to go back in the attic in January and make fun of this ornament because he missed out on all the fun. And all my friends and family that were there, they thought I was nuts. But the light went on in my mind immediately. A story about an ornament that gets left behind in the attic. And what a great kid's story it would be. If you ask anyone, and I've seen this now since having released these books, if you ask anyone who celebrates Christmas, ornaments are most people's most special Christmas possession.
That's really true. I mean, I've as a child, I would spend a lot of time looking at the ornaments and wondering what they're about, their meanings, and all that stuff. And I would go through that, and so what
Well, and it's funny because as for your listeners right now, I can almost guarantee that the vast majority of them are thinking about their favorite ornament that they either got on a trip or for their wedding gift, or one of their kids or grandkids made it, or maybe it's a collection from their grandmother. But everybody who's listening to this is thinking about their own ornament collection. So what I realized shortly after releasing the first book is I wrote a kid's story that resonates with adults.
That's pretty wild. So why did you want to write a book targeted towards children? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, you probably had, I could write a book for adults because there's a lot of adults that need kindness help.
Well, the thing is, like I said earlier, my background is marketing and advertising. So when I came up with this idea about an ornament that gets left behind in the attic, it was 4 days before Christmas. And for the next 4 days, my wheels are just spinning in my mind. I'm thinking, this is a series. We're going to have ornaments. We're going to have merchandise. This is going to be an animated Christmas series. I don't think anything small. So I'm thinking big, big, big. And I woke up on Christmas morning at my parents' house, and I didn't know what the story was. I knew it was a story about an ornament that gets left behind in the attic. But I woke up at 4 a.m. Christmas Day, and I knew what the story was. I went down to my mom's computer and wrote the story, and 45 minutes later it was written. So then for the next 20 months, I used my marketing and advertising background to start building a business plan. How are we going to scale this? What is the release plan of each of the books? What are all the names of the characters? What do I have to do? I find an illustrator first, because you can't have a children's book unless you have, amazing illustrations. And so, I just felt that, I felt it was such a good idea, and there was such a void in this area that I just felt it was, it was that $1 million or $10 million or $100 million idea.
There you go. $100 million idea. So when did you start this project then?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Wow. There you go. What was the as you go through it, you've developed it quite a bit. There's how many books are there in the series?
There's a total of 7.
7 books in the series. There you go. And then what's the vision long term for this? Are there going to continue to be books in this series, or how's it going to work out?
I can't give that away because you'd have to read the last book to find out how the last story ends. But you can surmise that if I was excited about writing one series, there's probably a good chance that I want to set this up to write another series. We're also talking with studios in Hollywood right now about the creation of the animated Christmas series. So
Oh,
it would come out as a 7-episode series, much in the same way as the Rankin Bass old traditional style stop motion animation, where say, for example, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Those kind of iconic type of specials is what we're looking to create.
there you go. There you go. And now you've got the patriotic series too. Tell us how that works.
Yes. So after I released the first book, I do a lot of school programs, as you had mentioned. So I have a program called Oliver's Day of Kindness, and I would hear from school teachers across the country that they love the Oliver's Day of Kindness. They wish I had a book that the kids could read throughout the year. And I just thought, well, this is a Christmas story. I don't want to compromise the integrity of the brand. How am I going to turn this into a Halloween story or something else? Well, 4 years ago, I was getting ready for the 4th of July, and I was grabbing my flags out of my attic, and I glanced over and I saw the ornaments in my ornament collection. And I thought to myself, oh, it would be great if the kids went up to the attic in the summer to get the flags for their family's 4th of July party. And all of the characters were practicing for their own 4th of July parade and started giving them lessons about why we celebrate the 4th of July. So again, I came up with this idea, or I wrote the story, and then there we have Oliver Doodle Dandy. And what I'm excited about this now is I'm working on a re-release to celebrate the 250th birthday of America next year. So on January 1st, we'll be releasing Oliver Doodle Dandy Celebrates 250 Years of America. So super excited about that. For those of us who are old enough to remember the bicentennial, we remember how fun it was for kids and how many activities there were. And there was parades and fireworks, and there was all this patriotic stuff going on around the country. And it's that same spirit that I'm hoping this, in a small way, contributes to children's memory. And in 50 years, when the country is celebrating the tricentennial, the children will be talking about the sesquicentennial.
Well, that should be darn good, right?
Yeah.
250 years. That's we had quite a run.
That's a big milestone.
It's up to us to keep it going, folks. We're each stewards of our democracy, and the republic for which it stands, and all that stuff. So there you go. Now tell us about this. You have another series you're working on that's going to be launching soon. The Kindness of Christ series. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. So I'll give you a little background how this all evolved. So I mentioned that I have a program called Oliver's Day of Kindness that schools can participate in. And last year I developed a parochial version of it. So I exhibited this program at the National Catholic Education Association. It's a gathering of about 4,000 Catholic educators. And I had several components of my program that were faith-based. So when we have Oliver's Day of Kindness, we have a discussion about what it means to be kind. And then we ask for examples of people in their life that was kind. And then I morph that into, I think the kindest person who ever walked the earth was Jesus. And then we get into a conversation about what did Jesus do that was kind while he walked the face of the earth. The kids go back to the classroom, and then they have a Christian kindness coloring book where you're depicting kind acts that Christ performed, and there's coloring contests. So anyhow, so that went over really, really well. I live in Chicago. The Chicago Archdiocese found out about this, and they have a program for professional development, and they had never seen the message of kindness and the message of Christ's life melded together. And they asked me if I would be interested in facilitating a professional development program for the Archdiocese for this professional development program. So I put together a program called The Kindness of Christ. And that program, I facilitated it to educators throughout the Chicago Archdiocese. And the whole program was meant to facilitate creative thinking of how Christian educators could bring Christ's kindness to life in the classroom in really creative and unique ways. So it was thinking about Christ's life in a different light, and that's through the light of kindness. And as we got into this more and more and more, I thought, well, Christ's entire life was an exercise in kindness from his birth to his ascension into heaven. So I came up with the idea to create a coloring book for children. It's the Kindness of Christ coloring book. And it there's 45 chapters depicting Christ's entire life, beginning with his birth in Bethlehem and his ascension into heaven. But again, all through the lens of kindness. So when children are embarking upon this and they're coloring it, they're not only, thinking about the scripture reading that corresponds with the actual illustration that they're going to be coloring, but they're thinking of it through the lens of kindness.
There you go. There you go. Kindness is so important. We need more of that in life. We need more caring, love, humanity, all that sort of stuff. I mean, just so important and how that can work out. And then tell us about your life. How did you grow up? What influenced you? When did you start writing? And how did you kind of know, hey, it's time to publish a book? A lot of people probably out there that want to be authors are thinking about that.
Chris, you're exactly. I can't tell you how many people have told me, "Oh, I have an idea for a book. I have an idea for a book, or I want to write a book, and my answer is always like, then do it. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. There's absolutely nothing stopping you except yourself. So I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin, Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Not that small, like 50,000 people. Had a fantastic set of parents who instilled in us creativity in learning. Like when I think back of all the Christmas gifts we would get, so many of them were educational toys, Light Bright or Spirograph or an erector set or, things that, were not only toys, but they helped spawn creativity. And, it's funny, my brothers and I all grew up very different. We all grew up with the exact same parents, but we're all incredibly, incredibly different. But the one common thread that all of us have is we're all incredibly creative. We're all blessed with creativity in our genes. And I think that was, by and large, how our parents raised us. So
there you go.
And I think that is so important. And I think that's something that's really lacking today in education as well, is we don't, everything is so regimented. Children are on their devices so much. And it's not, your children are taught to draw within the lines, so to use a coloring book, analogy. And, sometimes it's messy to color outside the lines, but that's when you get really creative thinking. So anyhow, I went to the University of Wisconsin and had a great education in marketing and worked at the largest magazine publishing company in America for a 20-year run with them, working at Fortune magazine and This Old House. And then I came up with this idea, and this has been my career for the last 10 years.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, what a way to do stuff, uplifting, motivating, getting people going, all that sort of thing. I mean, what a beautiful thing to message to tell children. And of course, teaching it early, one of the problems as children is, and I think you embody this in the ornaments bullying each other, and they bully the little gentleman Oliver. Talk about that and why the bullying aspect of the narrative of the book is kind of interesting, and why you set that stage for young people. Sure.
So, there always has to be a villain in every children's story. You can't have a children's story without a villain. So, so in this story, the story starts with the ornaments coming to life. It's Thanksgiving night, and they're getting excited because the family's going to decorate their tree tomorrow. And they realize that Oliver has a broken arm. And because Oliver has a broken arm, there's certain things that he can't do now. And because of that, 3 of the ornaments in the attic bully him because of that.
Oh.
And but even in spite of that, he still finds his way to the tree. And in the end, shows how a kind heart can help you overcome any odd to save the day. And that's exactly what Oliver does in every single book.
There you go. Good job, Oliver. And a lot of kids, high school, elementary school, it's one hell of a hazing period. Kids are mean to each other. They're not fully developed as human beings, and they can be mean, man. My school was pretty mean too. And then you can be bullied, you can be beat up. It's not a nice experience to go through.
No.
And it's kind of, I don't know, human beings working out and figuring stuff out, but you definitely learn early on, or at least you're supposed to learn early on, the golden rule, and be nice to others so that people will be nice to you. It's always a good idea.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
So there you go.
I'll add this too. It's kind of funny. So I wrote the second after I was done with the first book, I wrote the second book, and again, we had 3 bullies in the first book who reform at the end of the first book. So I couldn't very well make them be bullies again, because the children fall in love with these 3 characters at the end of the first book. So I wrote the second book, and I never sent it off to my illustrator because something was gnawing at me. I kept saying, gosh, this book is even sweeter than the first book. It's just really nice. But there was something bothering me about it. And and I didn't know what it was. All of a sudden, woke up in the middle of the night, and I realized there's no villain in the second book. I had written the entire second book, and it was just sweet and nice and kind and pleasant. And I'm thinking, I can't do that as a children's book. So I had to, which is terrible, but that's what I had. That's every children's book has one commonality, and that's there's a villain. And so I created a new character in the second book, and her name is Nellie. And it turns out Nellie was left behind in the attic decades and decades ago. And for all these years, she has thought that it was intentional. And this Christmas, Nellie snaps, and she is determined to ruin Christmas with some harebrained, crazy idea to ruin Christmas for the ornaments, for the family, and then ultimately she sets her sights on Santa Claus himself. So It's really fun. It's a really fun evolution from book 1 to book 7. There's this mystery that unfolds where the ornaments are trying to get to the bottom of why Nellie was so naughty and why she's doing such terribly mean things. So instead of like getting revenge on her, they're trying to understand her. And in the end, you can imagine it has a nice full circle story ending.
There you go. Well, it's good to have a good ending there, right? You can do the good ending and everyone's happy, as it were. So what else is in the future? How soon does the 1-book series get released? The one that's got
the Kindness of Christ.
Yeah, the Kindness of Christ. How soon does that get released?
That's out now on several editions are out on Amazon today. It's out exclusively. The official release date is going to be July 25th, but they are available on Amazon now.
There you go. There you go. Well, this should be fun to see these out and them read. Anything more you want to talk about or promote while we have you on the show?
Well, just that with each of these programs, with each of these books, I've developed a unique school program that if any of your listeners have elementary children, or they're a principal or they're a school teacher, we have these great programs for Oliver. It's called Oliver's Day of Kindness. If you're in a Christian school, we have the Kindness of Christ program, which is a really neat program. It can be an entire semester. It can be an entire school year. But basically the program does is chronicles Jesus's life, but again, through the lens of kindness. And the children participate in coloring activities every week. And then when they're doing one of their drawings, you can probably see that there's a pledge of kindness on the bottom.
There you go.
So it's
good so it's a pledge to say, hey, I'm going to work on being a kind person.
Exactly. You do weekly or you do a daily pledge of kindness. However this school, it's completely adaptable. It's a supplemental educational program that's meant to supplement their existing curriculum, not replace any of their curriculum.
Okay.
And then we've got, we're going to be doing the Oliver Doodle Dandy celebrates 250 years of America. That's a 4 to 8 week end of school program next year that will culminate. It includes story time, patriotic bingo games, age-appropriate lesson plans and activities for everything from the national parks to the American presidents to American history. And that culminates at every participating school with a Happy Birthday America party at the end of the school year, where each of the schools will be burying America's 250th birthday time capsule. All the schools, all the children will write letters, what it means to be celebrating America's 250th birthday, and all the children will be invited back in 50 years to the tricentennial for the unveiling of that time capsule.
Well, that should be fun. Right?
I think it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, it looks like you have a bunch of bingo so that you can play some games with it too. Bingo games.
Yep, we've got 10 different patriotic picture bingo games, and those are weekly games that the schools will participate in, and then that's followed by the activity that's tied to it, whether it be iconic American sites or inspirational Americans or the 50 states.
There you go. Well, this should be exciting. And of course, we need, I know some adults that need these books to work on their kindness and empathy. Maybe an adult series for people, or at least, something you can hit them with in the book when they're not kind. No, I'm just kidding. Don't hit people. It's not right. Unless they have it coming, I guess. I don't know. Or if they're evil. Anyway, don't do that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for coming to the show. We really appreciate it. Give us your .coms as we go out. Todd, where can people find you on the internet?
It's Oliver the Ornament or the Kindness of Christ. You can go to either one of those. You can go to the Kindness of Christ to see the faith-based program, and then Oliver the Ornament has all of my other programs. And if you use if your audience is interested in any of the books, if they use the discount code VOSS, they'll receive 20% off their order.
Discount code VOSS. There you go. So thank you very much, Todd, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And thanks so much for tuning in. Order up the book in the series, Oliver the Ornament, off of Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. Do they get more goodies if they order it off your website, like any bonuses or something like that?
Yeah. In fact, over half of the customers, they buy the entire collection when they hear about this. They want all 7 books, all 14 ornaments. So we've got a fantastic bundle of those packages where you can get everything at once.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Todd. Thanks for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1 on the TikTok, and all those crazy places in it. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.